Ken, since you're here, would you like to introduce your very illustrious speaker to us?
Certainly, there she is. Bethany Hartshorn, longtime friend and more, as we've known each other many, many years. Did a extraordinary trek up Mount Kilimanjaro, and she's here to share her experience with us. So without any further ado, Bethany Hartshorn. Relax, you'll be fine.
Thanks for joining. And my summit sister, Amy Remington, is on here too. I don't see her directly right now, but so she can say hello.
I'm looking for her because I'm going to spotlight her along with you. Oh, there she is.
Okay, perfect.
I put everybody on mute too, I think, unless they have questions.
There she is. I miss you.
I miss you too.
Yeah, so we're crazy. We've been doing obstacle races together for a few years, and we decided we were liking the idea of adding hiking to it. And when I saw this trip to Kilimanjaro, I've never hiked before, major like this before, I said, Amy, let's do it. And she's like, okay, let's go. So we ventured on this adventure together. Signed up 2 years ago. It was canceled last year, 2020. So we did this in September, this past September 2021. So I don't know. I think Russ is going to start a slideshow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get the slideshow going. Give me 1 second here, because then I also want to spotlight the two of you for everyone.
Okay, cool.
On.
So that's the initial, do you have it so everyone sees it? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, perfect. So that's the mountain that we climbed. It's the highest freestanding mountain in the world, I think. I don't remember. Amy, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
the highest freestanding mountain in the world. 120,000 feet.
Yeah, so then, we arrived in Tanzania after a 24-hour travel day and met up with some of our teammates. That's our van getting us to the lodge. And that's a picture of like our bedroom. And we just thought it was such a cool lodge area. And we were there for 2 days to sort of just get associated with our team members. There was 43 of us from all over the world. I think 22 countries were represented. Which was so cool. And yeah, so the next day we had just like a brief briefing on what to expect on our mountain climb. And then we had a day of relaxation. So we went to a really cool coffee cafe and met some locals. Amy became friends with like 5 locals I think she still talks to today. At various little stores around the coffee shop. So that was a fun afternoon before we get all packed up to go on our hike. So, yep. So this is all of us the next day. Yep. This was all of us, the world's highest OCR team. So what an OCR is, it's an obstacle course race. And this was going to get a world record that took place in the crater of the mountain, which you'll see later. So this is what we're all trying to accomplish during this hike. Okay, so then the next, I think it's a video. So this is a video. I don't know if I start yet. Just of us in the truck. I don't know if you can, I don't hear volume. But does anyone hear volume or no? Amy, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I hear no volume.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we can kind of let you know. We're very excited. We're just all, the team is just about to go to the base of the mountain. And so it's a lot of us just getting really amped up and cheering each other on before we get there.
Okay, you can go. You're better at this than I am.
Well, I mean, I think you're doing a great job. I mean, this picture here is us just getting to the base of the mountain where we start to excuse me, I'm sorry, my dog also wants to, timing is everything here. She's been good all morning. So you can see those are all the porters, the guides, the cooks, the medical staff, all getting ready for this amazing giant journey that we're about to have. They were able to employ over 300, somewhere between 300 and 400 staff from Tanzania to be able to participate in this world record event that we went on.
All right. All right, next slide. Cool. This was the first hiking up first day. We had a lunch break. We're in the rainforest now, which is the very bottom of the mountain. And then that's the first camp we get to, Machami camp. Yeah, it was very beautiful. We saw monkeys in the rainforest. That was really cool.
And as you can see, it's very warm at this point. It's steamy. I mean, everybody's in short sleeves. We're walking up there. I mean, I think most of us in pants were regretting the pants and thinking we should wear shorts. I just want to highlight that because the temperature definitely changes by the end.
Yeah. So it looks like the video isn't going to have audio, I don't think.
Well, actually, if I could jump in, and if people can unmute, were you guys able to hear the audio on the last one? Because
No,
Glenn. I mean, Russ.
okay, because I'm not 100% sure why. Because I was hearing the audio.
I wonder if you were muted.
Yeah, I'm not sure why no one else was hearing it, but let's try again. If
unmute yourself, Russ.
I am unmuted.
No.
Yeah, you are unmuted. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to set it up so that it'll when you set up the screen share, you have to set up to also take the sound.
It is. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep. So let's just try again. See what happens with this one. Is anyone other than me hearing the audio?
No.
No. All right, so Amy, Bethany, if you guys want to narrate while these videos are playing.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, so he's just explaining, getting to the first camp and world's highest OCR and getting to the crater to do the world record. So he was our organizer. There was two organizers, Dave and Rob. This is Dave. So that's why I added the video just to have him there, but so you could hear, but I'm kind of bummed. All right, so you can do the second day, yeah. Is that, okay, yeah. So this is where we're like their first camp with all our tents. The little taller tents are our porta potties. And this was our food tent, feeding us all. The porters are just amazing. They take all this gear, the tables, the food, all the tents, pack it up. Just amazing, and carry it on their back or their head. They're just amazing, amazing people. Work so hard for very little money. It's pretty amazing. But all right, so next slide.
Hold on. There we go.
And then every morning we get woken up with hot tea, and then we'll get a bucket of water, which we didn't take a picture of that, but just to kind of do a wash up of our face and or whatever we want to wipe down. And they called it washy. So every morning. And then we had to go to breakfast for 7:30. So we would get woken up at 6:30, have an hour to have tea, wash up, pack up all our gear, then go to breakfast. And while we're having breakfast, all the porters are taking down the tents, taking out our bags. Yeah, so amazing. So this is our second day. This was halfway up our hike. So just a good view. We're looking above the clouds already. So yeah. All right, next slide. And then the focus was the guide that walked with me. I was in a lot of body pain leading up to the trip, and I couldn't carry my bag. So he stayed with me the whole week. Yubu was the doctor. There was two doctors that were with us, and he was one that kind of stuck by my side a lot too, giving me pain medication throughout the time. But And then this was just a view up the little ledge that we were on with our team members, just taking a break. But yeah, this view was incredible. So yeah, so above the clouds, if you can see that. Next slide. And then we get to Shara Cave Camp. So this is our next camp. And we had pretty much the afternoon. So we did a team building event where we built a cairn all together, which is this rock tower. We all had to go down a little hill, grab a stone, rock, whatever, however size you wanted, carry it back up, and then we built this little tower, which was really cool. The next day, we kind of just took a walk, another hike through, and the majority of the group was gonna go to lava camp, which is a little higher, and have lunch. And actually, Amy, why don't you go from here? Because you experienced that. I ended up having to go off on the side with our other team member, Jared, because we were both in a lot of pain and walking slow. So they wanted us to just go to the next camp. So we got lunch on the mountain. The porters carried the lunch from the camp all the way to us. So yeah, so that was that. That's what these pictures are, was our side lunch break. So Amy, yeah, you can talk about lava camp.
Yeah, so I mean, Bethany's amazing. She is like a trooper. She's struggling through all of this, like with pain and everything, and she just keeps putting one foot in front of the other the whole time. And they gave us kind of a situation where some of the team had to go up a little bit further to what's called Lava Tower, which is where part of Mount Kilimanjaro was a volcano, an active volcano, you know, millions of years ago or whatnot. And so the lava would spew into this one area and created this tower. And so going up there acclimated us more for the trip. But it meant that it was a detour for the day before we got to the camp. And so Bethany made an executive decision, which I think was a great one, because she wanted to make sure she could get up to that summit at the end. And so some of the team, myself included, we went to Lava Tower. And at that point, that was the highest altitude anyone had been to on this trip. And you could see that we just had lunch, and then we went down to the camp and met Bethany and some of the other team. And the people there were very sick, some of them. They were getting altitude sickness. People were just sitting there with their eyes closed, not being able to eat. Some had headaches, some had nausea. So this was the first time we're getting to feel that altitude sickness is starting to affect even these amazing best athletes that we've ever met in the world are being affected by altitude. So it certainly does not, you know, it's not choosy. Anybody could get altitude sickness for sure.
Bethany, can I interrupt with a question real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, as someone with MS, I understand your desire to, you know, you run, you swim, you do all these things. And I know you said, let's hike. There's a big leap between let's hike and let's hike Mount Kilimanjaro. It's like, you know, it's sort of like, okay, let's take a step. Let's jump 500 yards. You know, what possessed you to say, okay, I'm not just going to hike, but I'm going to hike Mount Kilimanjaro? I mean, what was your thought process?
I really don't know, really. I just saw this trip advertised, and I just thought it was so cool because it kind of would bring in the obstacles, but a lot more hiking involved. And I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I wanted to do something different. We had kind of already exceeded our expectations with our level of racing. I mean, we weren't elite racers or anything, but we did all the races all the time. It was kind of getting monotonous, I guess. And so this just seemed like a different challenge to push both of us, where we could get more hiking involved. And then at the top, there was only going to be 10 obstacles. I'm like, that's amazing. That's only 10 obstacles. We can do this, no problem. Not really knowing how I would do altitude. I know I've gone to Denver and been sick, so I didn't have any high expectations, really. I just wanted to go for it.
All right.
Here a little bit. I met Bethany, 2016, 2017. It's been several years now. We were volunteering at a race, and it was, we had spent doing races and stuff, and then we were actually doing some volunteer stuff for the MS Society, and I could tell she was really passionate about it. And I said, "Why are you so passionate about this?" And she says, "Amy, I have MS." And I was like, "What?" So for like a year, I didn't even know that she had it. She does not a defining aspect of her whatsoever.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
and
is not available at this time. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Tony, Gene, it's Glenn.
Glenn, mute
calling
yourself.
to go over some stuff for Jonathan.
Oh, jeez.
We can chat whenever you're ready. Just give me a call at the funeral hall.
Just hang on a second.
If I don't answer, just leave a message with the service, and I'll call you right back. I'll be around the house all day.
I'm looking for him so I can mute him.
Hope you're both well.
Important.
Yeah, Glenn, I'm muting you now. Thank you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All right,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, so just to finish that little side piece there was, it took about a year for me to even realize that she had MS. And then we just continued to, add to our resume of races. We would do a Spartan race, and then we decided, let's do a trifecta. Let's do 3 trifectas this year. Let's do an ultra, and we just kept adding the distance, adding the amount of races we did, trying all different races. And then, when Bethany said, "Hey, look at this. This looks interesting," she was the one that was all for it. And I was like, okay, let's go. But yeah, Bethany is quite an amazing person. I'm certainly blessed to have her in my life.
You're just as amazing. So, all right, moving on.
I know. I had to highlight you, though.
I know. I appreciate it.
And I did see.
Okay, since video isn't playing, I don't.
Oh, that's attractive.
I think.
At this point, we're just highlighting. We're leaving this camp and we're heading off to the next.
Yeah.
And just kind of saying, what's to be expected. I think somebody had a question about when altitude sickness started to happen. I don't know, for you versus me and for different people, it's all very, very different. For myself, the summit night, which was much higher. But for you, when do you feel like you got it? What started the feeling?
So that's where I'm confused about for myself, because I didn't feel like anything happened for me until summit as well, like where I started just getting really agitated and verbally incoherent. So I felt like for me, because I was struggling with the body pain, which I'll sidetrack everyone, I'm sorry for skipping that part. I started taking malaria drugs, and I went into extreme body pain like 2 weeks prior to this hike. So I stopped taking it when I was a weekly thing, and I took 2 weeks of it, and I didn't take the last week of it, and that it's eventually stopped. But so I was in pain. I didn't associate that with altitude stuff. So I don't know, when it started. If I could breathe fine. I didn't get headaches or anything, So. All right.
All right, so let's.
I guess go next slide.
Yeah.
And this was just like mountain foliage and plants. I thought was cool. It changes, the landscape changed each day. Okay, next.
And being able to move a little bit slower, we had Focus, the guide, who was absolutely wonderful. And he would actually stop and point stuff out. So we got a lot of good information by going with him and learning all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so this day, the doctor actually gave me some direct shot of pain medication. And that was probably my best day, was once they started this. The photo's hilarious. He was the best doctor around. So this is all of us gathering for the next hike start. next day. Oh,
All right,
Yeah.
it's day 4. Looking cute, of course. And we have just left the Brotherhood camp, and I forget the name of the next camp we're going to, but today we will be scaling a giant part of the mountain, and we will be going really close to it. Yep. There's a part that's called the kissing rock or the kissing wall, where you have to basically be right up against it and make sure that you get there safely. So we've got an excellent team, and I'm going to show you what's going on. Well, we're hiking. We've got beautiful, oh, look at that. I don't know if you can see it up there, but everybody's hiking up that way. This nice gentleman here is making sure I don't die. Thank you. And we're excited to keep going. Tomorrow we've got one more climb in the morning, then we go to bed for a few hours, and then we wake up at midnight to start the summit. So it's getting pretty close. This is pretty spectacular. So we're feeling great. Bethany got a good night's sleep. We're trying some new things.
Yeah, they put me with drugs.
They gave her some type of a liquid ibuprofen type shot, and she does better with prednisone at home, so they had something similar. We're going to try that today. Staying hydrated, well fed, and just excited for the day. Everybody's in good spirits and ready to crush it. So that's behind us, and this is what's in front.
awesome. I'm glad that actually, oh, that's so cool. Okay, you can go on to the next slide.
All right, it's day 4. Looking cute, of course. And we have just left the Brotherhood camp.
Russ, can you go to the next slide
The next
or no?
camp we're going to, but today we will be scaling.
Okay, yeah, so this is a more broader picture of the whole rock formation that we walked up. Yeah, so if you can kind of see everyone walking near the bottom.
Like ants compared to the size.
Yeah, all right, next slide. There's just a bunch of these. Yeah, I should have circled them, but they're over on the, but yeah, yep. So that's us climbing up this mountain. This wasn't even summit nights, just so you all know. All right, next slide. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of see. So all the porters and guides were kind of helping us through some tougher areas. They would hold on, make sure people didn't fall, because a lot of people had their bags on, so you're weighted different. All right, next. So this one picture on the right kind of shows more that the kissing rock or the kissing wall of where we had to like really hold on and get close to the rock as we passed it. All right, next. And this is when we got to the top of that area, the girls and the boys picture. Then Amy and I, and then Johnson was our videographer from Australia. They're working on a documentary of this whole event. So he was awesome. And so we had a picture of him, so I wanted to highlight him here. So that was that. And then we started walking now eventually for the rest of the day. And so we were in this flat desert. It was bizarre area before we started hiking down, and then we go back up to our camp, and that's Focus. He was just the best guide ever. All right, next. Yeah. I don't know where the picture went, but the camp is, I don't know, Russ, if you can do the pointer on the picture on the right. It's all the way up on the top almost. There it is. Okay. So this was at the just before we started the descent and before we had to go back up. So we had to go back up. That on that second picture shows the hike back up that we have to go to camp. All right, next. And then if I hope these work, because this is Focus teaching us Swahili.
Support me one more for washing, please.
Okay, so that would be samahani.
Samahani, naomba maji moto ya kunawa.
Samahani,
naomba maji moto ya kunawa.
Ya kunawa.
Ya kunawa.
Ya kunawa.
Yeah, ya kunawa.
Okay. Next slide, I think it's, or there's next one.
Say it again.
Okay, here we go. I would say samahani.
Samahani.
Nataka maji
baridi ya kunywa.
So what was that?
Say it.
I think it's, excuse me, can you please help me? But I'd have to listen to it again. I don't remember. We were learning a lot that day. I know samahani, excuse me.
It looks like Bethany's video has frozen there. So Amy, you're our narrator until Bethany's Zoom
So
kicks
as you
back in.
can see, Bethany's smiling this whole day. She's feeling great. I definitely think that concoction of whatever the doctor gave helped quite a bit. This whole day, we just had fun. It was a lighthearted climb, hike. The mountains was great. We learned about the foliage or the lack thereof. It's pretty much just mountains and rocks and dirt and lava. And then we get to the camp for the day. So that's us just kind of settling into camp. And how stellar is that next picture? You can go on to that. I mean, that is how close the beautiful Mount Kilimanjaro is, right in the background. Those are our tents, as you can see, the smaller tents. We were blessed with the fact that they actually gave us toilets. So those little pointy tents are actually toilets that we could use. Obviously, when you're on the mountain, Mother Nature, you have to use her. But at camp, we had the luxury of that. And then that big, long tent is actually where we would have all of our meals. That's where we would talk about our day, laugh. You know, they would give us the briefings, the unwindings of the day and the expectations of the next day. And a lot of team building and bonding, and get to know all of these people that were once strangers became family and friends through, you know, experience there. So it's getting close. That summit's almost there.
All right, 1 second, because Bethany has rejoined us. And let me find her and let me spotlight her so everyone can see her real quick. There we go. Just give me 1 second.
And at this point, I will say it's getting very cold. I can't recall which night. It may be this night. There may be a video or some more pictures that show it, but it was starting to get super cold, especially at night. When the sun is up, it's very different. It like gets super warm, even if it's cold there. But as soon as the sun goes down, it is a completely different beast. It's very, very cold. We actually would, they had a system where they would boil all the water that they got. So we would have clean water we could drink. And what we would do is we'd take 2 bottles. They had one bottle that was like that metal insulated type, and one that was more like a Nalgene bottle of the plastic, so you could feel the heat through it. And I'd fill both of those. Bethany, this is what we would do. You fill both of them at night before you go to bed. And the one that's the plastic one that you could feel the heat through, I would put into the bottom of my sleeping bag so my feet would stay warm. And then in the morning, when you woke up and you wanted hot to drink, besides the tea that they would bring you, you still had that thermos that was insulated, and that would still be warm. And that was kind of the system every night as it got colder, what we would have to do. So it looks like Bethany's back, and it looks like we are on to the next day here, which I will let her talk about. But this is our good friend Bob, and it's a pretty wonderful story. So I'll let Bethany jump back in if you want.
Yeah, so Bob and his daughter were doing the trek with us, and he's in his 60s. I don't know his exact age, but he has Parkinson's, and talk about a rock star. I mean, he was unbelievable. You didn't even realize he had any really major issues at all. He was great physically. He was way ahead of us hiking, had no issues. But this day we woke up, he got checked every day by the doctors, and he started having fluid in his lungs. So they had to take him down. So he couldn't complete the summit hike and the world record with us. So it was just a sad day. We were kind of, he was kind of one of our summit sisters. We called him a summit brother. And, you know, so we were all disappointed he had to head down and not be with us with that. But he's unbelievable. And he does a lot more hiking, and his daughter lives in Denver. And so they would go out and do altitude mountains over there. And he was just amazing. So anyway, it was a sad day for us.
Yeah, but she ended up staying on the mountain with us. And
Yeah.
so, you know, it was, I kind of touched upon how this trip took all of us as strangers and made us friends and family by the end. And Bob became, you know, somebody that everybody considered family. And so it wasn't just Bethany and I and a few other people that were disappointed. It was the whole team. And
Yeah.
coming down, there was hugs, there was cheering. They did a wonderful send off. And he met us down at the bottom to celebrate the whole experience at the end. So it does have a happy ending. He shows up again to celebrate with us.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, so this is just more hiking up in the clouds, and you could see the terrain completely changing, just rocks at this point. Really, really amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So then we got to Brotherhood camp, which is our summit day camp, night camp too, but we got there early. And so we had the whole day to kind of acclimatize, and then the picture on the right is our briefing for what time we're going to be leaving, and what groups we're all in to start hiking. So that's that picture. But and that we kind of had a briefing every night at dinner. But this was our pretty much after dinner, we were going to go to our tents and go to sleep. So at 7 o'clock, because we're waking up at 11:30 to head off by 1 in the morning. So that was that, but we're in good spirits at that point. So hopefully, I think this is arrival to the camp, if the video doesn't.
All right, we are just getting to Karanga camp. Oh, Brotherhood. We left Karanga camp. Excuse me, Brotherhood camp. The last camp we're going to go to before we summit this beautiful mountain. Bethany's doing great. Focus is doing amazing. Ayubu's doing awesome.
Awesome.
He's the doctor. This here, what is this one?
This is Moenzi.
Moenzi, that's another mountain that some people climb, but they recommend not doing it because rocks fall down from it. So we're not going to do that. So, but here we go. That's our camp for the night. So we're doing great. One more sleep. We wake up at midnight and do our thing.
Okay, next, yep. And this is just a picture at night, you know, of all our tents and us all hunkering down to go to summit. Just thought it was pretty. The stars were unbelievable. I mean, this picture doesn't do it justice, but it just, if you woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning when the moon was completely down, it was just the most stunning. It was just amazing. I wish I had a picture that totally showed that. All right, so this is just before we start.
All right, it's the morning of. There we go. Oh, I think we need some light. There we go. We are about to set off to summit Mount Kilimanjaro. We are all layered, as you can see, Bethany, and we are ready to go. So we're gonna go have
Love you guys.
We're going to have some hot tea and meet up with our team and then head off. So next time you hear from us, we should maybe be at well, only maybe because you might hear from us sooner, but we'll definitely be at the top. And then we'll do our obstacle course race. Bye.
Next, yeah. So This was, oh, this is a tough day. So we started summit at 1 a.m. and we were put in the last group, which I'm not sure why. All us slow, there was a few of us that were just walking slower and they put us in the back. And we both started having altitude issues. I just pretty much started losing my mind. I really don't remember much of the hike at all. And as you can tell, this is when we got up halfway. We were almost to Stella Point, which is at the top before we got to Uhuru Peak. Did I say that right? Uhuru? Okay, which is the final summit. And we had a time cutoff of 8 a.m. to get to our final summit peak, to get down into the crater. And I was walking very slow, very cold, and agitated. And we knew we weren't going to make summit cutoff in time, but we still wanted to try to make it up and do the summit, even though we weren't going to be able to get our world record. So Amy selflessly decided to stick with me and summit instead of go ahead because she was feeling fine. But anyway, so this was the sunrise in the morning. The next picture, that's before that. Sunrise. So we're still heading up. And this is, we got to Stella. I was completely out of it, but she talked to the guides to focus, and there was another guide with us. And we decided we only had to go not even a mile. And it really wasn't much more elevation to get to the final summit peak. So the middle picture is us running into a fellow team member that had just summited and was going back down. He didn't make it in time either to get down to do the world record, but so he was having a hard time too. At this point, he was already feeling better hiking down. The next picture is some glaciers on our way to the summit. Very small at this point. They've melted a lot. Amy, if you want to add in. Oh, so this was the crater. This was our team doing some of the obstacles along the way. And so we could see them and we tried to cheer down to them. But yeah, we completely missed that cutoff. So Amy, do you want to add in?
Cool, I mean, when we got up to Stella Point, which is, at that point you can see down to the crater, and we can also see up to the actual summit. So okay, the finish line is there. And then it's really exciting. It's bittersweet because yeah, we went down there with our friends and family that we've met recently. And then, but we know that they're doing it right now. They are getting Guinness World Records. And so it was pretty darn cool to be able to be up there and know we're about to summit. We knew we were going to do it, and they're doing it. And it was just, I don't know. I look back and it's such a good feel good moment, a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, you could hear them all cheering down in the crater. That final obstacle with the black is the warped wall. If you watched American Ninja Warrior, and there was a few people that actually were able to do it down there with 50% oxygen, less oxygen. Pretty amazing. You could hear them all cheering. It was really awesome, at least to be. I do remember that.
Yeah, they call it the death zone because when you get to that, you're at 50% oxygen. Right now we're at 100% at regular altitude. So you're getting 50% less oxygen than you normally get. So your O2 stats drop quite a bit. And some of the people that got up to the top at the time, maybe they got there before the 8 o'clock cutoff, but they had problems where, they were having altitude sickness. They were delusional. One guy got a very severe bloody nose and wasn't able to come. So they had to pull people off the mountain. There was another gentleman who was, I think his numbers were in the 40s or something very, very scary. So altitude sickness takes all different shapes, and there were definitely some people that made it to the crater part and actually had to be pulled for health reasons. They did an excellent job at keeping us all safe. That was the priority.
Yep. So this is our final summit picture with our focus and another guide, and some just glaciers along the way. And we're so excited that we got to summit and be able to say we at least did that. And that was our main goal in the first place. And I couldn't believe I was able to actually get up there. I wasn't even sure before leaving on this trip if I should do it because of the amount of pain I was in. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting moment. And then, yeah, here's
Became Summit Sisters.
yes, as a Summit sister.
We just finished. You can see the sign in the background. Look at this. It's a wall of ice. These things here. We made it. He's still alive. Just trucking along. We did it. Top of the highest standing mountain in the world. With my best friend, my Summit sister. The better feeling in the world. We kind of forgoed the obstacle course to make sure that Bethany and I could get up here together. It's really important, and I have no regrets whatsoever. So, keep my head down now.
Okay, next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So we hiked down to a middle camp before we descent all the way down. And in the morning we woke up, I was like, Amy, my lip is really swollen. And she woke up and I was like, oh my God, your lip is swollen too. We just had the biggest crack up. It was just, oh my God, it's unbelievable. And what was that called again?
So I think it's just edema, which is the swelling, the additional fluid pooling in certain areas. People get it in their feet, their legs. But I think the reason why, and Ayubu, the doctor, was, validated this, was we were actually up on that mountain a lot longer than most people. It took us much longer to get to the summit, and it also took us much longer to get down. And so we were up there with the wind chill, the altitude, and then also the sun. We put sunblock on, but I have to admit, I did not put it on my lips. I wasn't thinking, you don't think about sunblock as much. It wasn't. So between the wind, the sun is so much brighter and it's bouncing off the glaciers and things like that. And then it took us hours to get down. And we didn't really talk about it, but when we finally got down to the camp from the summit, we thought we had some time to sit, eat, relax, rest, but it had taken us so long to get down to that part safely that they told us we had a few minutes to pack all of our stuff, and we had to continue for another 4 to 5 hours for the next camp. We weren't able to just stop at that camp. So when everybody else had 3+ hours to take a nap, eat, and things like that, we were still coming down the mountain to that camp, and then we had to keep going another 4 to 5 hours. I thought that we was going to lose it. She was such a trooper. She's like, nope, let's go. We packed it all up and we just kept going. And when we finally got, oh my gosh, we slept so good that night.
Yeah, it's the best night's sleep.
I know. So when we woke up like this, this was the moment right here that we wake up and realize that we really did summit. That wasn't a dream. We did that yesterday. And this is just a very happy moment. The doctor said it was no big deal, that the swelling would go down, and it did. So it is nothing but happiness in this picture.
And then this is a celebration video that all the guides and porters do.
Part of the obstacle course, we have the mountain and back down the mountain. So they're just celebrating because they did something incredible. We've got the obstacle course and up from the dark.
Bethany, were you in the middle of that crowd dancing?
Not, there was another video which I should have put in, but I didn't want to, I was already so many slides in. But yeah, that after this part, we all got in together and we're dancing around. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they pulled us all in, and it was pretty amazing. And
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Like, you know, they did a Guinness Book World Record. They were all part of it too. All these people from Tanzania who normally just bring, you know, a group of, you know, 5 to 10 people up, brought, you know, 40 plus people up and brought an obstacle course to the top of a mountain and helped these people set a Guinness Book World Record. So they were all celebrating. They were just as happy. Everything went off without a hitch. It was beautiful. So it was a happy moment. So this is us coming down to the bottom, right?
Yep, this is us on the way down, and then Kilimanjaro's in the background, so we had to take a photo of that. And then this is when we got down to the gate. We had a Kilimanjaro beer to celebrate with everybody. Next slide, I think, is just, yep. So that's everyone and their team, their country flags. Everyone was trying to represent. So it was about 22 countries, which is not represented here flag wise, but so I think that was, I think I stopped with that. Yeah.
Yeah, quite a amazing thing.
Yeah, so
Bethany, was this an MS group or was it just a general?
no, this was anyone that had seen the advertisement about it. Most likely we're all obstacle racers. Yeah, I mean, I was the only one with MS. Bob had Parkinson's. There was a guy that has donated a liver and a kidney, and he's doing all 7 summits of the world. He's actually on his 5th right now. He's doing it right now in Argentina, that one. So yeah, there were some people that were there for other issues or other, you know, reasons, but otherwise they were just extreme athletes. And we were kind of like the novelty athletes, you know. There was a lot of people there that are elite runners, elite obstacle racers. They're ending in 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd place with any race that they do. So it was amazing, the level of elite to just our level. And we all felt the same, you know. I didn't feel inferior. So yeah. Any questions? Anyone have any questions? Or
Bethany, what kind of cost was associated with your participation? Monetary?
Yeah, it was probably about $12,000 to do this.
So let me ask you, even with all the pain, the you know, the shots that you had to endure on the way up, on the way down, all this, would you do it again?
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, I think my pain really came from the malaria drugs. So I would like to do it without taking that and see the difference. My MS doctor said it wasn't MS pain. So, so I did stop taking the malaria, but it took about a week before I felt good after taking that. So I don't associate it from MS stuff at all. So, but who knows? I don't know. But definitely would do it again. But Amy and I are going to try to do Everest Base Camp in November. So,
confirmation from you, Bethany? Are you confirming right now?
Pretty much. I'm about 80%. I have one guy to talk to, and then I'll tell you.
All right. I'm already signed up. I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, she's already signed up. I'm still wavering.
Well, this is a recorded record, so you have proof, Amy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And that just goes to show you you know, I know I'm tooting your horn a little bit here, Bethany, but I feel as though it's certainly well earned. You know, you never let something get the best of you. I think most of us, at least in this type of field where we do these races and stuff, after it's done, we're always like, oh my gosh, that was horrible. It was so hard. I never want to do another one of those again. And then a couple days, weeks, months later, you're like, all right, when's the next one? And that's, yeah, she's like, all right, let's sign up for the next one. Let's do it again. Let's learn from what worked and what didn't work and tweak some things and see if we can have some more adventures. So I'm looking forward to it.
So,
Bethany and Amy, thank you so much. This is wonderful. And it's interesting because I've heard people say, well, climbing Tanzania isn't Kilimanjaro isn't really climbing a mountain, but it's quite a climb.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's not technical. It was like steep hiking other than that rock part. So it's not like we're, scaling the mountain with ropes and things like that, but certainly with the altitude, the different temperatures, the fact that you're having to camp for what, six nights and I mean, there's certainly quite a bit to it, but.
And it sounded like the wind was really
7 or 8.
really something too. Yeah.
From your training, your activities before, it sounded like you were in good shape, but did you have to do a certain amount of training before you went on this and get in even better shape, or what?
Yeah, you know what? We didn't really get much elevation training in, but we did, smaller mountains locally around us. Amy lives in Worcester, so we kind of met at Wachusett a lot and just went to go up and down it a few times and wear weighted pack. But yeah, we kept moving like every day and wearing some form of weight. And that, so physically the mountain really wasn't that horribly difficult. I just wish I could have worn my bag, but I had already started the pain before we even left here. So,
and part of it I will say is that when we were signing up for this, it was 2019 when we were signing up, and when we were
the fittest we've been.
Yeah, we were doing tons of races, and then the pandemic happened and everything shut down. So we were doing races every weekend, some big ones, and that in itself was conditioning. And then when, the gyms closed down and the races stopped, and then everything got postponed, it kind of changed our fitness level. And we weren't as going out doing things on our own. And so, we kind of had to build ourselves back up. So we really didn't know what to expect going into this.
Yeah.
When did you do this?
September of this past year, September 2021.
Wow.
Yeah.
Herb's talking here. Congratulations to both of you, especially you, Beth, for doing that. I'm curious, do you have any idea of the age range for the races, participants?
Yeah, I think so. The youngest was Sergey. Was that Sergey? Or, yeah, he was from Russia. He came with his dad. He was 16.
Yeah, Sever. Yeah.
Yeah, Sever. Okay. He was 16, so he was the youngest, and then Bob. I think there were like Bob, Donna, and Heidi were all in their 60s. So yeah. So I don't think it was older than 60 range.
Yeah.
I know Heidi and Donna are both 62, 63, and Bob, I don't know how old he is, but he's in his 60s. So yeah.
Well, maybe for my 80th, I'll go with it.
Yeah, exactly, right? We'll do an 80th birthday hike.
Thank you so much. That was very interesting.
Oh, good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
I could do that.
So, Bethany, one comment that I would make, my oldest daughter has MS. And if you watch her, you would not know it. She exercises every day. She skis. She has trained to become a yoga instructor. She does that.
Oh, that's amazing.
If you saw her in her daily life, you would never know there was anything wrong with her.
Exactly. Yep. It's invisible.
Yeah. Yeah. My middle daughter has MS also. She's not quite as lucky, but she deals with it.
Yeah.
So
you got to just deal with it with a good attitude.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, well, listen, I want to add in a comment here real quickly. Many years, well, I say many years ago, probably about a dozen years ago, I was working with a woman who was in her 20s. She was a rock climber, she was hardcore mountain biker. She tried her hand at a triathlon once. So this woman was, in her mid-20s, peak of health and good shape. She did Mount Kilimanjaro, and she said that it kicked her butt. But she said it was worth it. But to see the two of you, and especially you, Bethany, do this, after knowing, like I said, this young woman, peak of physical health, go and say it kicked their butt. I stand in awe of the two of you. It's just because I know if I even attempted it, I might not make it off the mountain. I could honestly say that. So I stand in awe of you, and thank you for both of you for joining us this morning and for kind of guiding us through this presentation. This was fabulous. And for all the brothers, we did record this, so we'll share a link with everyone if anyone wants to share this presentation with anyone else. If there are no more questions, thank you everyone, and have a great, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Ross?
Yes, Ken.
Ross, I just want to, in light of we're doing all these athletic things, meetings and stuff. Phil Margolis, are you still on the program here?
Yes, I am.
Would you refresh people about the FJMC Sports Affinity Group programs? I watched the last one, it was quite phenomenal, and they got another one coming up later this month. Maybe you might want
Sure.
to.
Sure.
I didn't see anybody really on that they might want to. Bethany, as always, love you a lot. Thank you very, very much. And Amy, great to meet you virtually. Maybe I'm not sure if I met you in person yet, but we'll be in touch. And Bethany did a great job. I think you got a new thing you can add to your resume.
Yeah, right. Cool. Thank you, guys. Pleasure.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks,
Mount Everest.
Thank you for a great.
So really quickly, hopefully some of you guys are getting these emails about the affinity groups. They have a variety of topics, but the most active one is, I think, the sports one. They do one or maybe more than one program a month. They've had speakers, including the general manager of the Boston Red Sox. I think the speaker we had on the bobsled might have come from there, might have done that as well. The next one is on January 24th. It is somebody from the ADL speaking about anti-Semitism in sports. It's so Monday night, the 24th at 8 o'clock. If you're not on the list and have a question and are interested, let me know. I can get you the registration link. And there's also, I believe, a YouTube page that you can see past ones if you're interested. So there's no charge. This is part of the our being members of the FJMC.
Thank you.
All right. Well, on that note, everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye all.